Okay, so this is going to be our hand release push-up test. Now this is harder than our regular push-ups. So I'll show, for example, traditionally with push-ups, we're going to see something like this with our elbows coming out. Don't like to do push-ups this way because I'm going to get pressure on my shoulder where I don't want it. So I don't want to put pressure into this capsule here. I want to keep my thumbs forward, but I'm going to work on rolling down towards the ground with my elbows closer to my sides here, okay? So for this push-up test, I call this the hand release push-up test. We're going to first get our hands by our sides, pull your scaps down, make sure that you're breathing out nice and strong, getting your ribs down as well. So ribs are down, I got my spine flexed, I'm using my abs here, and I have my scaps back. In other words, squeezing on my armpits. Now I'm going to push the ground away, breathing out. And you notice here that when I come up top, I've got my scaps pushing. So I want to use more of that push for this serratus. So that's the little plus part up top. I keep pushing away till I get all the way locked out up top here. Now coming down, I'm making sure that I'm drifting forward as I come down, okay? So when I here, I want to make sure that I pull my hands off of the floor again. You can even have them sweep out to the sides. Make sure you pull them back. Then you push the ground away. You'll notice as I do that I drift back again. So I think about drifting back. As I come down, I'm drifting forward. So when I say drifting, you notice here, my hands, my head is past my hands here, and my hands are right by my sides. As I push away, my head is now between my hands. So I'm drifting back in that position. Now what we want to make sure that we focus on here is a nice, strong position, stacked position. So in other words, when I'm doing this push-up position, I'm keeping stacked with my ribs down. So forceful exhalation helps that. This position here with my ribs, but I have good spinal flexion here, and you see my back position here. All right, so I'm going to show you what I don't want to see is when we come off the ground, if we're braking here, or we start to push, and then we got here breaking through, compressing our spine. That's not the point of doing this. So a good push-up is going to really challenge our core position, but we have to be able to maintain that. The other thing I don't want to do is allow my shoulders to push down. So in other words, this is now pressure on my capsule, and I want to keep this centigrated. My thumb forward, but my elbow, if you notice, is back, doesn't flare out, okay? So if we do this, or if we're doing this, or if we just can't push the ground away and get out of this position with good form, then what you want to do is go to bands, okay? So these bands can help us to maintain position. This is a thicker band that's going to take more of my body weight. As I put this band around my hips, it's also going to help to keep my hips in a better position. So in other words, I have good stability through my trunk, okay? So I want good lumbar stability here. The band can help with that position. So that now I might find that I can easily push the ground away, and then we can start to work with a lighter band as we get more advanced. We go down to a lighter band. All right, in this next progression, we're going to talk about how we get stronger for our push-ups based off of your testing. But what I want you to do is test for time. So I'm going to give you a minute for your test. how many really good push-ups can you do till you get to failure. Now, for some of you, you may be able to exceed a minute. For most of us, we're probably going to be around 40 seconds, and we're gonna get ourselves pretty close to failure there. As long as you can keep going with good form, then you can keep going until you reach failure. It's okay to reach failure on this in the test as long as you're not breaking or compensating to do it, okay? So this is the first test or progression that we're gonna look at for your push-ups.